Chelsea smashed Spurs. And I know when you look at the score line, you see 3-4, you think it was a game that was close. It wasn't really that close. Apart from a combination of, Cucurella sleeping and an overall poor 10 to 15 minutes for the whole team, for the team as overall. Chelsea was in complete control of the game. I wouldn't say from start to finish, but I would say from like the 20th minute mark of the first half up until the second half. And although I would have much rather preferred that Chelsea didn't concede that third goal from Spurs, but you can quite understand that Chelsea, could see that they were controlling the game. The game was as good as done. And so they took their foot off the pedal a tiny bit, and then Spurs got that goal, to make it 4-3 and look a bit more respectable from their point of view. But there are a couple of things I have to point out, in this game because it won't be any analysis if there are just nothing to point out. It wasn't a completely perfect performance. It could have been better. For me, Sanchez on the ball is too tentative. He feels a bit scared, in my opinion, on the ball, and his pass selection isn't that great. You know, Jorgensen is way better with the ball at his feet, at least. But I'll give him kudos for making some big saves. Especially um, whilst it was 2-0, he made some big saves, so that's good as well from him. Cucurella after the sleep. I know people say, "Oh, he's trying to blame the kit man, he's trying to blame the boots, trying to blame his equipment." Now, for me, I could say, okay, that's a fair point to point out, a fair point to raise. But I would also say sometimes, you know, these boots don't really fit as you would want. And one of the things you have to know is that maybe that's a new boot that is out, and the sponsors have said, okay, you have to wear this. Wear it for the first half, and then second half you can, because sponsors they do that. So he tried it. He slipped twice, and you have to also look at the fact that once he changed his footwear, he didn't slip anymore. Once he changed boots, he didn't slip throughout the whole game. So Cucurella was a, he led. He's unfortunate that his mistake led, up to, led to the goal by Spurs. So, but anyways, anyone who's saying Cucurella should be kept out of the team is just missing the point. He's just trying to, you know, say too much in my opinion. And then Pedro Neto. Pedro Neto was okay. Wasn't too fantastic in my opinion. He was okay, but he didn't really contribute much to the game. He did not really contribute much to the game. And this is where I bring this question. Not to say that Presidento isn't good or he wouldn't be good in other games. For me personally, I feel he's a very good winger, but he is actually better as an orthodox winger. By that I mean a left winger playing on the left, right winger playing on the left-footed winger playing on the left, and a right-footed winger playing on the right. So I think he's more suited to playing as an orthodox winger down the left. And then go to Sancho. Brilliant. He played okay, he played decent, and he got the goal. He got his goal. So that sort of started Chelsea's, resurgence. Started comeback for Chelsea. But I think overall it hurt Chelsea, but thankfully it didn't ultimately cost Chelsea all 3 points. Because each time you'd see Chelsea were about to go on a counter, you would notice it had to go down Pedro's wing as opposed to being able to be spread across both wings. You know, you could see how long it took him to get, down the flank and really spread, stretch Spurs. And it's not his fault. It's not something where you're blaming the player because you know his abilities, you know his qualities on the ball. When he has the ball, supreme control, supreme first touch, skill on the ball can make any defender, I mean any defender in the world, look like an absolute numpty, an absolute idiot. But when it comes to actually having that pace to get in behind the high line, I suppose, they play true to form. For my previous video, I said that true to form, but that was an issue for me. But thankfully, he got his goal and he played fairly well. But I think overall, could have been. I think Chelsea would have been better served with Pedro Neto playing out on that left hand side, and Noni Madueke playing out, on the right hand side. And then for Nicholas Jackson, He was okay. He helped carry the ball a lot of the time, but he didn't get his goal. I think I was expecting him to score because I was thinking that he had the pace, to outpace and Dragosin. But fair due to the Spurs defender, he was able to put in a large ditch tackle that sort of denied, Nicholas Jackson shot on target. So for me, he was okay, but not overly brilliant. And that's you see some of his limitations. One thing I've said is when it comes to making that when it comes to running in behind one on one, one v one versus goalkeeper, he's improved in that regard. You know, outpacing the defender, 1v1, he scores brilliant. But his movement in the box still leaves a lot to be desired. A lot to be desired. And that's why I said if Chelsea, even it is even a smidget of hope of challenging for a title this season, just needs to get a typical number 9 in January. And for me, Victor Osimhen is the guy. Yes, I've said it. I've said it. Yeah, Victor Osimhen is the guy that you need to get in. So he was decent, but not too fantastic. And then we're talking about Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer was brilliant in the game. Was very good. Um, Converted two penalties, of course, that ultimately ensured the 3 points for Chelsea. He was pretty good. He was decent, especially you know playing in the half space and all that. So it was brilliant from him in that regard. So fantastic from Cole Palmer as usual. Caicedo was brilliant again in the middle of the park, but he almost could have been sent off because on another day, though for me it was a strange one. The tackle was high. You could see it was high, but it didn't go with any ferocity. When I looked at it, I didn't see quite the force. But in today's game, he was very, very lucky not to be sent off, in my opinion. And I'm glad he wasn't sent off, but he should have been sent off. Same thing with, Dejan Kulusevski on the sports side. He as well should have been sent off because that was just reckless and, violent play, in my opinion, with his elbow to the head of with his elbow to the head of Romeo Lavia. So for me, he should have as well been sent off in my opinion, but he wasn't sent off. So it was nice to see all 11 players on the pitch. So that was good. So Caicedo, Lavia, they were all good. Played very very well. Fantastic. Caicedo is making himself every time he plays, he's making himself undroppable for Enzo Maresca. And then Gusto came on for Lavia. He played well as well. He was able to drop into the midfield and also drop back into that right back position. So overall, he was very good. Um, who else are we talking about again? With the defenders, Cole Will. This is the third time Cole Will has made an error leading to goal. In my own opinion, he's a young defender. He will learn. He will grow. He'll become better. He'll become better for it. At the end of the day. But in my opinion, I would say Colwill was at fault for the goal. He just lost sight of his man, who was Dom Solanke, and Dominic Solanke got the goal. So for me, I feel like he needs to tighten up. He needs to tighten up. And for me, Badio Shield just doesn't cut it. I don't know why. I don't know what Enzo Maresca sees in training to say, oh, the players he picks, it depends on how they train, when they train well. So, do you train well? It begs this question. Do you train well? Does a player train well? And then when it comes to actually playing the game, doesn't play very well. This is something that was levied at Eden Hazard. Oh, he doesn't train well. He's not a good trainer. But if he doesn't train well and he's still able to give you an 8 out of 10 performance, even on a bad day, then what are we talking about? So someone trains very well but doesn't perform on match day. So why would you be playing him? So I don't really care if you tell me Bajashut is the best trainer in the team. What's the point of training if you can't translate that training to match days? Just like you're a Formula One driver, you do all your test drives, you beat everyone, you beat all the world records during your practice. But then when it comes to any F1 tournament, you finish last on the grid. So then what's the point of claiming that you're the best when it comes to training? So for me, Badia Shield, no. Badia Shield should be gone. by January. If Juventus wants him, he should go. If there's anyone coming in with a sizable offer, he should go. Tosin should be starting in the absence of Wesley Fofana. And in January, I think a defender should be gotten, and I suspect it could very well be Thomas Arojo, the Benfica defender. So I would much rather see a defender being brought in as opposed to having Bader Shield and Disasi. For me, Disasi is even ever so slightly better than Bader Shield. So if you're picking out from two sort of average players, I think Disasi is someone that will do a job better than his passing is on par, if not better than Bader Shield. He actually can defend, but in terms of his movement, his pace, his mobility, that's where he falls short. So maybe he's not able to play, he's not able to be part of a defensive high line. So maybe, but even Bader Shield is not the quickest. It's not the Van der Ven, in my opinion. He's not the quickest. So, so for me, I think Tosin is the one that should be starting. He's got the passing range. He's big, he's 6'5", and I think he's more mobile than Bader Shield and Disasi put together. So that's my opinion for that. So overall, Cole Palmer, beautiful penalties, converted penalties. One thing I like about Cole Palmer is he actually makes the keeper save it. I know this sounds like something odd to say, but it actually makes the keeper save it. That is, if you are going to stop this ball from getting into the net, if you're going to prevent this penalty from being a goal, you have to get your fingers on it. You have to stretch. You're not just going to move to a corner and the ball just rolls to where you are. You actually have to dive. So in my opinion, fantastic play from Cole Palmer, and Cole Palmer for the Enzo goal, fantastic play as well. Took on 2-3 players, and for the first the shot was deflected off. I think was it Udoji, and then onto Enzo Fernandez, who smashed the ball into the net. So that was brilliant. From Enzo Fernandez, he had a very, very good game, an almost stellar game, man, almost stellar game. I still want to see the ability to actually control the game, because that's what I really expect from a player of the caliber of Enzo Fernandez: the ability to hold the ball, pop it left, pop it right, control the pace of the attack, control the pace of the game, just like Tony Cruz, for instance. And then that would be the perfect performance, in my opinion. But for me, he was very good, got a goal, contributed to a lot of good things on the pitch. So that was brilliant in my opinion. So overall, like I said, just really battered Spurs. Don't allow the 3-4 scoreline fool you. So overall, like I said, everyone played well. It was a very good performance from the team. Now on to the game versus Astana. I think is it the Kazakhstan team. As a game, I think likes from Gunku and the likes would play. Jao Felix would play, although he came on with a couple of minutes to go. That's Jao Felix, and then Nkunku came on as well for a few minutes as well. I don't think he came on for that minute. He came on for it's like a little more than Jao Felix anyway. So that was good. He didn't have. I don't think he did that much, but he pressed in his own way. And please, please, can we stop this narrative that people are trying to put forward? Can we stop it? People are trying to make out that Nkunku is not a good player. Can we just stop this narrative here and now? He's a very good player. Now, before I end this video, I have to call out Enzo Maresca. First off, I'll give him his flowers, because at the beginning of the season, even for those of us who had seen him and had said, okay, he will be a good coach. He had the chops to actually, take this team to a higher level than someone like Pochettino did. But, there's a big but. What he's doing with Noni Madueke, in my opinion, is a bit unfair. Now, there are people who don't like Noni Madueke. Some say he's selfish. Some say this, some say the other one. But against Aston Villa, he came off the bench, had an assist for, made an assist for Cole Palmer to get the defining goal, like the goal that sealed the game. He came up with that assist. Neto started before him, no assist, no goals. We go on to the Southampton game. I think he starts. Noni Madueke. He scores and at least comes up with one assist. So at least to my mind, to my remembrance, two goal contributions in that game. Then um, we go into the game versus Spurs. You start with the Pedro Neto. He doesn't play. He plays, but he actually did nothing. And in my opinion, fair dues to Pedro Neto. I think it was because of where he was played. I think it was because of where he was played. So Enzo Maresca coming out to say, "Oh, Noni Madueke is not playing because of the way he trains." It just doesn't make sense to me. Back to what I've said. How are you a fantastic trainer? You train so well, you train so beautifully, and then come match day, you can't deliver. So then, what's the point? You know. And Chelsea fans, remember this: Jose Mourinho, legend of Chelsea, the special one. Remember what he said about Kevin De Bruyne? He said Kevin De Bruyne, oh, he doesn't train well. He's not training well. He's on the bench. Now look at the level of player that Kevin De Bruyne is now. So for me, I think, nah, nah. I don't think it's fair the way Noni Madueke is being treated. Maybe then again he's saying one thing to the press and saying something else to Noni Madueke, and to Noni Madueke is taking it in his stride. And I think he takes it positively. He hasn't down tools. He's still working hard, and that's good. And then again, on the flip side of things, you could say maybe this is all part of how Enzo Maresca is choosing to manage the team, in this congested festive period fixture. So maybe that's part of it. And then again, on the game, I'll say this again: Sancho played well, but I think overall, Chelsea would have been able to hurt Spurs more if Pedro Neto had played out on the wide and on Madueke played out on the right. So as a point of come to the end of today's video, do follow me, do subscribe to this channel, and let it continue to grow. And also follow on TikTok, and hoping to set up an Instagram account so you can follow on there as well. So at this point, we've come to the end of today's video, and hopefully I'll see you in yet another video that hopefully is the preview to the Astana game, the UEFA Conference League game, Chelsea vs Astana. And keep your eyes peeled for a game, well, for a show where I'll be talking about a wonderful and amazing super talent, Nigerian talent, if I may add, that plays for Genoa. So keep your eyes peeled on the channel. So at this point, I say do have a fantastic rest of your evening. Goodbye.